In my dream, I met what I understand is my hybrid daughter, Darcia Lily. Is she really my hybrid child, or am I confusing her with somebody else?
You're connecting to a hybrid child that has a genetic connection to you. You're not the only parent, but there is a shared genetic link between you and this being. And you are utilizing certain filters that allow for this being to be perceivable, but it's close enough to the actual nature of this being that you're able to have a genuine communication.
Okay. So I also understand that the lily part of her name is the lily pad flower. But what does the Darcia refer to?
This in particular has a strong connection to the idea of the natural Earth frequencies that correspond to the part of your planet you call Ireland.
Which planet?
It's not a plant. This beginning part of the name is a cultural reference to the energies of your Earth that relate to the land of Ireland.
Ireland.
Yes. So there are certain frequencies connected to Celtic culture that this being is drawing upon, that the being then utilizes as a part of their name. So you can understand the unique flavor of plant and earth energy that is connected to this being. So it's not just the lily pad, it's also the collective plant consciousness of Ireland, that flavor that represents this particular being.
Is there also any connection to some specific purplish flower from the Essassani planet?
There are connections that this being has to the plants of other worlds, yes, but it's not as greatly reflected in the name. Because remember, the name is simply for convenience, so all of you can identify more strongly with these beings. So the name more so has to do with different earth-based energies. That's the function of the name. Because when the hybrid children utilize these names, the names act as grounding tools. So the children can become more resonant with your planet, with the earth.
I see. Okay, thank you. The other hybrid child that I became aware of was a kind of a little boy who gave me name Yantar, which is a Czech kind of version of the name Ember. And I think that he had black eyes. Would I describe accurate?
Yes, yes, you're tuning into a genuinely accurate representation of this being. Yes.
Okay, somehow I find it a bit harder to connect to him. Can you give me, please, any tips or understanding
Well, the
little bit
translation
better?
of the name is Ember, which has a strong correspondence to fire. Have you attempted to use fire to contact this being?
Huh. No, I haven't.
Remember, the names are clues to assist you in communicating more clearly with the beings.
Because
So,
the ember in the Czech language is more like the ember, the hardened sap of the tree. So I didn't connect it to the fire.
yes. Well, there's a few different ways to play with it. Both can act as symbols because of the vibrational quality of that word. The word has a few different physical representations that you can use to activate the underlying energies. So you can use the ember of a fire, but you can also use the ember that is the sap representation of the word. Either can work. Both of them are vibrational clues, again, to assist you in communing with this being. You can use both if you wish, and that may actually yield more power. It can actually extract more, let's just say, from the name, so more of a connection can be experienced.
Beautiful. Okay, so how many more hybrid children do I have, please?
You have many, but again, you are one genetic donor amongst many genetic donors. So it's not as if you are finished in your contributions to the program. You still interact with the program, and at different points in your journey, you oftentimes will choose to share genetic aspects of yourself. So more up-to-date representations of your genetics can then be associated with the hybridization program. So the number is actually growing.
Wow, so is that like tens or what would be the range?
In terms of the number of hybrid children that you currently have, that you are genetically
That I'm
connected
connected to, yeah, I
at
understand. I'm
least
not the only one.
70 at this point.
70?
Yes, at least 70.
Oh,
Yes. have some genetic connection to you, some more than others, but at least 70 at this point that we're aware of. There may be more.
Mm. And what is it that, you know, what is it that I contribute to them? What is it,
Your
the
dedication
quality?
to your path, your dedication to being yourself and expanding your consciousness has a direct effect on your genetics, which allows for the extra dimensional aspects of the genetics to be more activated. And that is something that the grays and the mantis beings desire for the program, because it can produce bodies that are more energetically balanced and activated, that the souls of the hybrid children can then incarnate into.
Mm.
So many of you whom are on this path of self-development and actualization are donors to the hybridization program. That's why many of you feel such a strong connection to different extraterrestrial groups in general. It's not just the idea of a soul connection that you have. It's not just the idea of a knowledge connection that you're feeling. It is the idea of a genetic connection. That's why you feel these energies so magnetically. That's why so many of you are drawn to it, because it is in many ways genetically resonating with you because of your contributions to the program. And because the beings of the program are evolving, all of you are evolving. And because all of you are evolving, the members of the program also evolve. So it's a two-way street, and you're all genetically working with one another to assist the hybrid children and yourselves in being all that you can be.
And can you share with me how exactly I contribute with my DNA?
Well, it's quite medical. And in that sense, it's very akin to what you experience when you go to your physicians on Earth and you donate blood.
Okay.
It's
So,
literally
so through
extracted.
blood?
Yes. Well, we're using that as an analogy here. That's all. It's like giving blood, but instead you're actually giving genetic information. So it is extracted. In some instances, it can be extracted from blood. In other instances, it's extracted from different fluids in the body, depending on the nature of the relationship and contract. But the DNA is extracted through whatever means is appropriate for the hybrid child that is being created and the nature of the corresponding contract.
Mm-hmm. So was my body at some point taken on a craft to do so?
We'll describe it like this: just how you can astral project.
Mm-hmm.
Your astral body, as you say, is a dimension of the self that has a particular frequency. And it, in many ways, acts as a middle ground between the physical reality and the higher frequency realities. So from the astral, you can access physical dimensions of the self and non-physical dimensions of the self. So what ends up happening is your astral body will resonate with the technologies of some craft, which will allow for the astral body to densify on board the craft in a way that creates a physical representation of your body. And then an energetic physical representation of your DNA is taken through the procedure. So it's, in a sense, like you're physically on the craft, but it really is more so that your astral body is being asked to express itself in a physical way, which can then allow for physical extractions to take place on the craft.
Okay. I think I get the idea.
All right.
Okay, thank you. Uh, this will help me with explaining some of this stuff to others.
Yes, of course.
And so with all these connections, is there any invitation from any of the hybrid friends to, to connect to me other than
Of
I
course.
already did?
Yes. Yes. You are being asked, invited to connect more deeply. And you feel this. Oftentimes, you will feel this as an inspiration to connect more deeply. When you feel those desires to commune with these beings, that's not a one-way sensation. That feeling of I desire to connect is also you detecting their desire to connect with you. So you get invitations to connect more often than you may realize. It's all a matter of sitting down and taking advantage of that invitation. Answer the phone, so to say.
Mm-hmm.
And there's many ways to engage them in contact. Many ways. As you know, you can channel them through you. That's one way. But of course, you can also astral voyage into their reality and have all types of experiences with them. They can share all types of different frequencies of information. So it's really up to you how you prefer to connect. But the more tools you have in your tool belt, the more options you'll have for experiencing that connection.
Hmm. But there isn't any like one specific being that would like kind of shout for attention and that I'm ignoring.
Well, there are specific beings behind the calls, but you'll find the specific being is consistent amongst all of the different calls that you get. Because remember, our collective energies oftentimes will condense themselves into a being who can act as a representation of our collective consciousness. So you will find that there is likely a particular being behind the invitation that is coming to you again and again and again. And just through you being aware of the invitation, you're already beginning to resonate more greatly with this being's energy. We're going to save some of the information because a lot will be revealed as you simply sit down and commune with the being, but there is a strong link to Sirius, a very strong connection here.
Hmm.
And this being, again, is a part of the hybridization program because the beings of Sirius also have a level of involvement in that program and are also spiritually our species mentors. So there's a strong connection here to all of the beings you have mentioned as well.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
I, th-
you are
I
very
I
well.
think we are pretty much up the time.
Yes.
So I thank you very much for all these beautiful insights.
Of course, it is our passion and our joy to share what we share with you. Our species, unconditional love and appreciation to you and all members of your human family.
Thank you very much.